Hello and welcome back to this vlog. Today I'm taking you with me to my art therapy class and we'll chat about the human brain and the things it holds. The class is a safe space where we unpack our feelings and thoughts while painting in the fresh air with the sun shining and peaceful music playing. I make my way to the class through this beautiful park in the middle of Dubai. This is what I love about this city. You can literally have a nice cozy green park in the middle of the ultra-modern city with the skyscrapers in the distance. I am the first to arrive, so I help Sophia, our teacher/coordinator, to set up. The class then starts with some light meditation. The theme today is Rising from the Ashes. We're about to channel our inner phoenix today. How exciting. So after the meditation is done, we all start to paint, and also today we're going to try to do some collage. Sophia has very kindly cut off a lot of little images and pictures so we can go through them and pick what's relevant to us and put them on our canvas. One thing that has been on my mind recently is, funnily enough, how busy my mind is. I think a lot of us can relate with this feeling of having too many tabs opened in our heads. There is this constant, overwhelming feeling of having too many thoughts and ideas floating around with an ever-growing to-do list. The equivalent of having several tabs opened on your computer browser, basically. So let's chat about this. It can be quite challenging when all you want to do is focus on the task at hand or simply relax and shut down those recurring thoughts, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate with this because I definitely do. We have increasingly busy lives, and when, for example, my day is rammed up full of hectic commute, endless emails, high-pressure meetings, and lively social engagements, it can be quite hard to switch off when the time comes for bed. When we spend all day dashing around and then spend our sitting down time just flicking through Instagram and catching up on the 1 million WhatsApp threads, we are overloading our brain on an extreme level, and I am definitely also guilty of doing that. Meaning that when we do finally change gear and try and settle down a solid night's sleep, we can sometimes feel overly stimulated. And I've been having this at the moment, because I feel like my senses are constantly bombarded from all directions in the digital world, and therefore my brain is overly stimulated and wired, which means that it is really hard for me to shut down to go to bed when I want to go to bed. Because at night, even if I decide to watch my favorite trash TV before sleeping and winding down with a hot bath or a cup of tea, I still find it quite hard to fall asleep, and I'm just lying there, tired and wanting to sleep, but my brain is just way too active. And I think sometimes it's just, my mind is wiring over that meeting that didn't go as well, or like the comment that, I read on one of my YouTube videos that I didn't feel too good about, or my long to-do list for the next day that I'm not sure I'll be able to get on top of, and just generally, what am I going to wear this weekend at something? There's just so much stuff going on in my brain. I've also realized that it's not just about falling asleep, right? There's also this weird new pattern that I've noticed, which is whenever I'm trying to figure out how to do a task, or like I don't know how to achieve a specific goal, and I'm working through the challenges and trying to come up with how to solve this, I'm very focused. But once I figure out how to do it, I immediately lose interest and I don't actually want to do the task, and I just get distracted by other things. And this is okay in like my own personal things, but at work, if I have a difficult task and I'm trying to figure it out, I'm really focused. But once I know how to do it, then I kind of lose the motivation to actually do it. And I think this is, again, this like the fact that my brain is just so addicted to feeling wired that when something feels easy, it's not interesting anymore. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, we've established the problem, right? We clearly have too much going on around us. We are just overloading our brain and our mind with so much things to think about, things to plan, things to worry about. But even good things, right? Even if you're scrolling through Instagram, or just you think you are just unwinding, watching a TV show or going on a walk and stuff. But if you're still overloading all your senses and your brain, then that's not really good for you. So we know the problem now. But there are ways to change this and take back control. This is something that I've been reading a lot about and I've been thinking about. The irony again of overloading my brain. But there are ways that we can change this. So firstly, the very obvious solution is to be more mindful, So in the moment, if you're feeling like there's just too many thoughts swirling around in your brain, you can just be like, okay, let me pay attention to something else, like your breath. And or you can notice the feel of something you touch, like, I don't know, the table or your clothes or your hair, but basically just the texture of something, or paying attention to some sound that you can hear around you, like the hum of cars on the street or something around. And this basically is a way of recognizing when your mind is wandering and just, going crazy and going into different things that are not the point of focus in the moment. And you can gently try to redirect it back to being mindful. I've tried it. It is not that easy to do, but I've tried it. So for example, if I'm in the middle of something, a piece of work, and I'm started to think, oh my God, like, am I going to finish this today at this time? What about tomorrow? What do I have to do tomorrow? I need to book this thing for the weekend. I need to book this thing. I need to do this. I need to buy this. Then I'm like, okay, wait. This is me overloading my brain again. So then I will stop and I will do something. Either, just listen to the sound of whatever's happening outside, or like, as I said, touch something. So I have a plant on my table, so I tend to like touch the leaves and stuff and just feel the texture. And then you just bring your mind back, right? And you're just like, okay, I don't need to be thinking about all of these things. Let's refocus on the current task at hand. It is not that easy to do, but I think it's something that definitely improves with time. So definitely try that. And then secondly is just shorten your to-do list. I think another main cause of our mind being constantly busy is having a very long to-do list and, not being too realistic about what can be done in a day and what can't be done, and the lack of prioritization when it comes to to-do list. The thing is, we unfortunately live in a society that believes that if you're not constantly being productive, you're lazy. And the downfall of that mindset is it can cause more stress and anxiety in your mind that needs to be there. We need to be comfortable with the idea that we do not have to get everything done in one day. Obviously, I understand, there are deadlines that are not set by us, for example, at work, in school, and things like this, and you do need to get these done. But that's when prioritization comes into play. We need to set priorities and really be satisfied to have gotten done a few important things. And that's the whole point of prioritization, right? So if you have a to-do list today, some of them have to be done today, and the others are, okay, if we have time, we can start to tackle the others, but they don't need to be done today. So it's okay if we don't get to those. And then just recognizing that, well, there's tomorrow to do the rest, and not feeling the need to do everything today and overloading your brain just to have this sense of you're not being lazy and you're keeping busy. Because a shorter to-do list also means that your mind will feel less like there is a need to constantly be thinking or planning what needs to get done, because you've already allocated your bandwidth for today, and once that's done, the rest is for tomorrow. So it's getting into that mindset of let's be realistic and prioritize, and this is what we're going to do today, and once that's done, we'll repeat the process tomorrow. And getting into that routine is quite useful. And again, this is something that I've kind of started doing, especially with work, being very clear with my manager and stuff of what are my expected goals for today, and therefore and for shorter term, like tomorrow, end of week, etc., and then prioritizing what I'm doing. And obviously, if I've finished what I meant to be doing today way too early, according to my working hours, then you work more for tomorrow. You can start that. But it's also recognizing that usually what needs to be done today is enough. It's usually quite a lot and will fill up my time for today. So, just getting used to not having to constantly be working. And then the third thing is managing your content intake. I think at the moment, the world is crazy, right? There's so much going on. Today, when I'm recording this, the Russia and Ukraine war is still happening. And I'm hoping that by the time this comes out, this has stopped. But, you know, there's COVID, there's now a war happening around the world. There's just a constant barrage of bad news, right? Whenever you go on the news, that's all you see. I deleted the BBC app for that reason, because it kept giving me breaking news of all the things that I don't want to know. And yes, I do definitely want to keep up with what's happening around the world. It's important, but having very set allocated time that I will now look at the news, and, you know, just have a very quick update on what's going on around the world, as opposed to constantly during the day when I'm doing other things, just getting a little reminder of like things that will stay on my mind and make me think about other things, or just, you know, make me worry, is something that I don't want. And that's the thing about our content intake, right? The content that we take in can either make us more relaxed and enjoy the moment better, or they can make us more fearful and worried about the future. Like, in particular, too much news and social media can make it really hard for us to not ruminate over things, especially when you go on Instagram and you see all of the videos that are heart-wrenching, right? So, for example, for me, when I see all of these like really sad or violent videos in the news or on Instagram, my mind just tends to think about the story a lot in my day, and it just stays in the back of my mind. And having spoken to quite a few people about this, a lot of people feel the same way. Like, especially when the Ukraine and Russia war broke, everyone was just very upset that day, and a lot of my friends were feeling very, very down emotionally, even though they have no attachment whatsoever to Ukraine or Russia. But it's just this, you know, we are all human at the end of the day. We have feelings, we empathize, and it's just mentally draining to have all of these bad news. And it's just human that it will stay in your mind and you will keep thinking about it. So that's been my issue. And I think even at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people felt that, you know, social media can just make things worse. You scroll through your news feed and you're barraged with more terrible details or lots of negative comments. And all of that creates a recipe for a mind that's in a constant whirlwind of negative thoughts and emotions. And that's why, you know, we need to limit or control our content intake. If you limit your intake of news and social media, you eliminate the amount of negativity that makes your mind busy, and also makes space for positive things that can calm you down, and it enables you to control what you are feeding your mind a bit better. The next thing we can do is, you know, be more in nature. So getting in nature has been proven, you know, many times by science to be soothing to our mind. To me, it makes complete sense. You know, when you think about it, humans started out in nature, right? In the beginning, we all lived outside. But we decided that now we're going to make houses and live inside. But that makes me wonder if we were ever even meant to be constantly inside all the time. And the thing is, I moved from the UK to Dubai, for example, mostly because the sun really affects my mood. So in the UK, it's always grey and rainy. And when I wake up in the morning, and if that's the weather outside, that has already dictated my mood for the rest of the day. And it's really hard to not, you know, feel like morose and like just a bit, but here, when it's sunny, when I wake up and it's a sunny day, my mood is automatically much better, and it makes everything a little nicer. You know, okay, you can have lunch in the sun, and even if something is not going too well, you can just look outside. It's bright and sunny, it's warm. Like, all of these things is just really nice. But also, I am someone who loves going for walks, and when I go to the beach, and I just feel very, very refreshed, and I feel ready for the week again, or going to the mountains, or just going in the middle of trees. You know, it's so nice because, one, there is a lot of different colors. It's also natural compared to our day-to-day when we're in an office in front of a screen watching everything that's virtual and digital. But here you are in the real world, connected again. And you know, there's this exercise that they do with you. I think it's in meditation, sometimes in yoga as well, where they get you to like put your palms on the ground to really feel, you know, connected to this like physical world that we're a part of, and realize that you are not just existing as as an individual, as a separate entity, but we're all connected and linked. And it's not just about what's happening in the metaverse or whatever it's being called now, but it's also just reminding yourself that we need to be grounded. We are here, and it just gives perspective. I'm not going to say everything else is minor, because it's not, but just giving you perspective of what's important and what's not. And it's a good reminder, and nature is there to make us feel good. And that's why a lot of people use their weekends to go for walks in the mountain, in the desert, go to the beach for a little swim. But it's just really good to be outside. And even whenever I'm having a very long day, the only thing I want to do is to go outside for a walk, even if it's at night, because just being outside with the fresh air and seeing the stars and the open sky definitely affects my mood, and it helps to calm my brain down a lot. And I think finally the very obvious answer is to be more active. It's easier for our minds to be busy when we're sitting around and not moving much. But if you're being active and, you're doing some sort of sport, then you're focused on that, on techniques and all of that. And, of course, just being active is good for us in all spheres of life, right? So why not just do that anyway? So I've started doing little stretches of yoga at night every day. I'm also skipping my rope and going to the gym every now and then when I can. I've also signed up for this reformer Pilates class. I'll let you know how that goes. But being active is really good, because obviously sport is good for your mood and hormone levels and stuff, which also control how we feel. So there we go. I had a lot of fun in the class, going back to what we were doing, and ta-da, here is my masterpiece. We won't hover too much over it, because it is therapy after all, but I do hope that this was helpful in any way and you managed to close some of these tabs. I'm still working on it myself, but I'm sure that this is something that we can achieve in the short term and the long term. In the meantime, just remember to see everyone around you, share the love, be kind, and try not to stress too much about things that you cannot control. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.